We come to turn 4, the final turn of this scenario. The Axis have not been able to achieve a sudden death victory, and so they are trying for an operational victory. In order to do that, they must collect a total of 21 victory points, with a victory point being each number of a spoils of war city. So 3 victory points for Kharkov, 4 for Moscow up here. The Germans currently have, 14 victory points because they lost Kharkov to the Russians on the previous turn. So, and they need 21 to win, which means that capturing Kharkov and capturing Leningrad is still not quite enough for a victory. The only chance they have to achieve an operational victory here would be to take either Sevastopol or Rostov, and also reclaim Kharkov or capture Leningrad. That seems to me like a heavy lift for the Axis, especially given how their forces are positioned up here for the Blitz on Moscow. That's a bit of a learning experience for me as the German commander. And so we'll see what they can do. The Germans currently have no units in the dead pool, and they have a number of disorganized units and a number of a number of cadres. And so let's see what they can do. They have 21 goods and 4 oil. The only cadres they currently have that can be replenished are this unit back here, and you know that's in the video, this unit here, which is way back in Lvov. You could replenish and rail somewhere, but railing isn't going to help them. They also have, let me just see if I can angle this without wrecking the video. They also have this unit here, which is a cadre because it suffered 2 hits. And so they're not going to need nearly all of those goods in order to make this whole. So normally replenishing or normally reorganizing a unit would cost a good, but this unit is up front, so it's going to cost 2 goods. This is going to cost 2 more goods, and then upgrading the unit would cost 2 more goods, which would be 3 more goods to bring this unit up to full strength. And this Hungarian cavalry unit could become an infantry unit, and that might actually be helpful here. And that's not up front, so that's another 2, and they may as well get this thing back here for another 2. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 of their 21 goods are used. None of those upgrades required an oil, which again doesn't really matter. So now the Germans have to think through how they can do all of the things they're going to want to do, and it looks pretty tough. For sure, they're going to need to be able to activate units down here in the south during the Blitz phase. Oh, hey, look, I forgot these 2 units. Reorganize them for 2 more goods, which again don't matter at this point. So yeah, so they will definitely need to be able to get at least 1 blitz capable unit down here, and that's the only blitz capable unit they can hope to get down there is this armored unit here, because this unit is wrapped up in zones of control there. Yeah, so the first thing is strategic rail movement, and I just don't see any place where it matters at all. They could rail this unit somewhere, but where they can't rail to a up front hex. They could rail a unit to here. If this game were going to continue, railing units to one of these places might make sense, but this is the last turn, so no point in that. And so strategic movement, again, a unit using strategic movement cannot end up in any kind of combat here, and it cannot end up front, so it can't be part of attrition. So yeah, the Germans have really kind of bullocks themselves here by making such a heavy bid for Moscow. So this is just going to be regular ground movement. So this armored unit could move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or just 5 to there, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have to recapture Kharkov here. This might be interesting. The Germans might have enough to get this done because the Soviets did not get a unit into, what this is, Rostov, right? Did not get a unit into Rostov, so the Germans might be able to overrun that on the Blitz phase, but let's see if that's really... So from here, this armored unit went one, it could go this way, 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3. And then it could go 4, and then 5, 6 to be right here. That seems like they might be getting themselves hung out to dry there, but I don't know, like, what are the other choices? This unit will then come here. Let's say this unit will come here, right? He came from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This infantry here could use it has to stop. It's gone from one unit's zone of control to this same unit's zone of control. Again, if we wanted to take Sevastopol, we would come down here, but we won't be able to blitz. We won't be able to activate any units for blitzing against Sevastopol, and so this combat here, we might do it anyway, but it doesn't help us any. 1, 2, 3. This unit here, okay, so this unit here can go 1, 2, and then it has to stop because it would take an extra movement point to get out of that zone of control. This unit here will move up here, and let's see here. 1, 2, 3. That's all of its moves. You know, I'm going to rescind the decision to upgrade that. I don't think we need the extra combat power here. I think that movement point might be beneficial, and I think that having this unit out here won't matter because it won't be blitz eligible, so this unit will make the original planned for move to that hex there. And what else might we want to do? We may as well eliminate some Soviet units, right? So this unit can move there. This unit can move I want to get a unit into Tula. So it probably has to be this unit. Makes it into Tula. That's 1, 2. And then this unit here, well, this unit is a little stronger. It can go and garrison Moscow. And this unit can stay right where it is. I think it probably makes sense to move that armored unit there. Could possibly, if it stays there in the blitz, or if it ends up there, then in blitz, can it get down here? Maybe that unit will end up being helpful in some fashion. And just want to make sure that we have, that the Germans want to make sure that they have as many units engaged on the front as possible. So they'll move there. 1, 2. And I'm going to go ahead and say that the Germans did this operational rail move here because that unit would then be allowed to move. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. These units aren't going to make it anywhere, are they? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. The Italians cannot quite get into the Leningrad area to try to take Leningrad, and they cannot make it down to fight that fight. 1, they can get right there to be part of the attrition, and I think that is it. I think that is the Axis movement. And so we will pause a bit and come back and then see what that means for attrition. Well, so we have the Axis with 87 upfront ground unit points, facing off against a mere 21 by the Soviets. So that's not good. But, and I forgot this in previous turns, the Axis do have air superiority and armor superiority, so they're going to hop up to here, and that's going to let them inflict 5 hits to the Soviets and claim 5 attrition hexes. So, yeah, that maybe the Axis is going to get done what it needs to get done here. It's this game is fascinating. Anyway, so let's have the Soviets accept the hits that they need to accept. They need to accept 5 hits on upfront units. And the truth of the and all units have to receive a hit before another unit can receive 2. But, so there's 1, 2. This unit here, the Soviets can let this become eliminated. 3, that doesn't matter to them at this point. They need to worry about down here. So that's 3 hits that the Soviets have taken out of a total of, out of a total of 5. And so this unit here, again, you wouldn't normally want them to intentionally disorganize an armor unit, but it doesn't matter to them at this point. So that's 4. Now, the 5th hit does probably matter, and they don't want to weaken any units down there, so they're just going to go ahead and let this unit take a hit. So a lot of stuff's going to get eliminated up here, most likely. I don't think that matters to the Russians. They know they cannot recapture Moscow, and so they're just trying to keep the Germans at bay. And so now the Germans have to decide which eligible attrition hexes they want to claim. And you can't claim a city, obviously. Basically, to claim a hex for attrition, I think it has to be in the clear, right? Or no, you can claim a forest or a hills hex in attrition, but I don't know, this might help a little bit. Yeah, that's just a forest. So that's one of the attrition hexes that they'll claim, because that gives them the potential to make this unit out of supply, which doesn't matter too much on this turn, but maybe does on the next turn. Who knows? So that's one attrition hex. Oh, so right, definitely they're going to take this hex right here and move those 2 units there, because that's going to give them a chance to make a run down here in the blitz phase. And so that unit retreats. That's 2 claimed attrition hexes. I suppose, no, that is not, that is rough terrain. That cannot be claimed by attrition. So this hex here, for sure, the Germans will claim as an attrition hex. That is 3 claims. And I suppose it's a little interesting. So is this passable here? I don't think so. I think the Germans claim this attrition hex, they'll eliminate that unit. Oh no, of course they won't. If they claim that hex, they'll have that unit will get to retreat into Rostov. So they definitely do not want to do that, in case they end up with the opportunity to just kind of waltz right into Rostov without having to fight for it. Does that mean that they don't want to then shoot at this unit in the combat phase to make sure that it doesn't get to retreat into Rostov? That's probably the truth for them. And so then I think a lot might hinge on, can the Axis, so this right here would be quite an easy victory, and it would clear that unit just a little bit out of the way. If the Axis were to first take this in combat, then this unit could not retreat into the city because it would be a disputed control. It would have to head back there, but I don't know if that does a lot of clearing. This right here, currently that's a 2-to-1. They get some air in there, but they don't have any armor bonus there. But getting that unit out of there would be super helpful. And so that might be what they decide to do. They're allowed to initiate 5 combats. Oh, did I forget to say they bought the Blitz, the offensive kit? Yes, I did forget that. I'm removing 2 of their oil and 2 of their goods for that. Certainly doing that here. So they may as well fight this fight here. They won't be able to do any following up from there, but it'll be helpful. They'll be, I guess, fighting here, fighting here, fighting here. So that's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 5 combats that the Axis will be conducting, and the Soviets have no air reaction markers either. All right, we'll get to that. All right, we're coming back for combat. I'm retroactively redoing a German thing instead of oh no, they can't. So this unit would be better used here, and so I was going to say, instead of taking this as an attrition, they'll move it out, but they won't be able to. That'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it would be done. So disregarding of the previous moves, and let's get some German combat happening. So this combat here is 16 German ground factors against 6, because the fortress triples the defense value. 6 Soviets, so that's only a 2-to-1, which is not great. The Germans will commit the, you know what it is, the air unit there, to make it, so a 3-to-1 combat. And I don't have my regular dice rolling thingamajob down here right now, so we're going to use this one. I also don't have any dice that are particularly great for use in this size doohickey. Here, this one will work. Okay, so the Germans attacking on the 3-to-1 column. Really hoping they can get 2 hits. And that's a 3. I think maybe that will not do the trick. Ground combat results table, 3-to-1. A roll of 3. They score, oh, they do. They score 2 hits. They score 2 hits and they suffer 1 hit. So that is very good news for the Germans, because 2 hits means disorganized and eliminated. So that gives the Germans 17 victory points. I think they will accept the hit on the Finnish unit, leave it in place, and move this infantry in to take Leningrad. And that's good for the Germans. The next combat, this unit started here, right? And it could have gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I think I'm going to have made that move, and there's a reason for that, because that keeps this unit from retreating there, although it's looking pretty likely this unit will suffer at least 1 hit. So in any case, here we go. Second combat. So 14 to 2 and 14 to 2 is 7-to-1. So yeah, that unit is auto eliminated. You can see here, and then the Germans also have the armor bonus. So anything that happens is 5 hits. Wasted a 6. So that unit is killed and eliminated, whatever you want to call it, and the infantry will advance to take that hex. That was 2 combats. Now we'll fight over here, Voronezh. So this is going to be 6 defense for the Russians because they're doubled in the city, and it's 8, 9, 13 to 6. So that's only 2-to-1. So maybe the Germans should have. Wouldn't have mattered. It'd be the same. So it's 2-to-1 starting odds, and as I said, they need that unit there. So it can 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This air unit can come down here and be part of this combat. So it is 2-to-1, 3-to-1, 4-to-1 because the Germans have a full strength air unit there. Let's see what happens here. A 3 on the, what did I say it was, 4-to-1. The 2 hits to the defender and none to the attacker, and so this unit is then disorganized and then destroyed. And so that's good. From the perspective of the Axis player, that's very good. And they will push these 2 units up here. Now, this battle here matters a lot. So it's 7 to 3. That's 2-to-1. No armor bonus because they're both armored units. So it's 2-to-1, 3-to-1, 4-to-1. And same thing. So actually, in this case, really, well, now they really like to get the 2 hits. Ooh, they might not. With the 2 on a 4-to-1 column, they do inflict 2 hits, but they also suffer 2 hits. So in the balance of things, that just ends up being kind of a wash, I think, because they do eliminate the armored unit. I guess that makes a clearer path to Rostov itself, but you know, so I was wrong. The Germans, they do need to attack that hex, because they won't be able to, let me put a disorganized token here, because they won't be able to move into Rostov on the blitz phase from their current positions. That's correct, right? That is correct. Well, that changes things a bit, because that would have meant, yeah, you know what? I think I'm just going to have to say I have to live with my mistakes here. There's no way I can go back and correct this. So the Germans are going to have to launch a 1-to-1 attack here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's too far for this air unit to get to. So I can, if I, so what I can do is I can say the Germans did not commit this air unit, because they certainly would not have. And what that does actually would make the outcome better for the Germans. The 2-to-1 would have given them only 1 hit in the attack. So this unit remains disorganized, but it remains full strength. And yeah, that's too bad. Okay, so 5-to-4 is 1-to-1, 2-to-1, 3-to-1 for the German air unit there. And that's a 4, right? Okay, so that should get the job done on a 2-to-1. A 4 will, no. A 4 will be 1 hit. A single hit. And so, thanks to blunders by the German High Command, this unit is not obligated to retreat. And so I think they're going to hold Rostov. I think the Soviets have done it. We'll see how that shakes itself out in the blitz phase. So that's 1, 2, 3 combats. The Germans are allowed 2 more combats. Yeah, I may as well do it. So 5, 11, 14 to 3 because they're disorganized. No terrain bonus, and then 1. So 14 to 3 would be 4-to-1, and then 5-to-1 for the air unit. That's going to be a hit that eliminates that unit, and no hits to the Axis. So this armored unit is eliminated. It matters not at all. And so that's 4 combats. And I think that for the 5th combat, they'll just fight up here. So that's a 1-to-1, 4-to-2 doubled. Oh, is it doubled in the rough terrain or tripled? That might be that they're not doing that combat. No, it's still just doubled. So that's 2-to-1. Now, you know, that doesn't even matter at this point. So let's go up here for the sake of it. Take a production point away from the Russians. So 3, 8, 14, right? 14 to 3. That's 4-to-1. And we have no air unit to employ. 2 on a 4-to-1 is again, it's the 2-2. 2 on the 4-to-1, yep, 2-2. So this unit is eliminated. These 2 units here will take the 2 hits for the Axis. Yeah, no, they can't leave. Yeah, so you know, it has to be a good order unit that advances, so there's going to be no advance into that hex. And I definitely don't want to leave the unit at Moscow disorganized, so that's what it is. All right, boy, you learn as you go, huh? Well, so that's the end of the combat phase. We will now have the blitz phase, which I have to look and see. Is the attacker allowed to attack an empty hex in order to, I mean, this would be an overrun combat here, I think. I've got to look into that. All right, we'll be back. Well, we're at the blitz phase, but we're also at a point where, if possible, a unit must advance into the vacated hex. And so the question is, yes, it has to be an organized ground unit that advances into the hex. So the Axis has to either take a hit on this unit and advance this unit, or leave Moscow vacant. So that's a no-brainer. And yeah, should have probably kept that unit in Moscow, huh? So that's the addendum to the previous round of combat. And now we're at the blitz phase. And so the only units eligible for the blitz phase are these two ground units, that air unit, and this infantry unit. And that means that there will be no way to capture Rostov. They won't. So it would be potentially 1, 2, and then 3, and then 4, 5, 6, or 1, 2. They're crossing a river here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for going from one zone of control to another. And there is no attacking a vacant hex. There's got to be a ground unit there. So I think the Axis, for game purposes, they have currently got 20 points, which is 1 point below the threshold for an operational victory. Oh, these units here are also eligible to participate in the blitz phase. But I don't think there's any good that can be done with any of them. The only cities that remain, the only victory point locations that remain that the Axis could possibly capture are Sevastopol and Rostov. Neither of them can be reached during the blitz phase. Looks like I forgot to rebase. No, this unit can be based there. That's okay. That air unit can be based there. So the Germans certainly need to keep Rostov garrisoned this time. They can't be, letting that be retaken again. So I think that for the blitz phase, they'll move 1, 2, 3, I think all that we're trying to do here is get that unit out of the way and, just sort of setting a bit of a perimeter there so that the Soviets can't race through. And this unit, 1, 2, 3, 4, it's going to be vulnerable back there to an attack, but at least the Soviets won't be able to bring a replacement unit into that city for the fight. So then we've got this. So this is 8 and 6 is 14 to 2 is 7 to 1. We've got the armor bonus. They don't even need to bother with anything else. It's just an automatic elimination of this unit, and this blitzing armor will move there, and that is all she wrote. The Axis have failed to achieve an operational victory. They have achieved a stalemate, I believe is what the rules call it. but the Soviets have a chance to make the score just a little closer. Yeah, draw is 12 to 20 points. So it's the closest thing to a victory you can have without a victory for the Axis right now. But if the Soviets are able to retake, there's no chance of retaking Leningrad. Is that unit there? Yeah, that unit's there. They'll never dislodge that. But they might get Moscow back. It could happen. It's not likely, but the Soviets have a couple of powerful units coming in on the next turn. The question will be, can they get those powerful units close enough to the fray to get into the fight for Moscow? The Axis locking this down was an important point in their favor. But yeah, that all needs to be dealt with during the next Russian turn, the final Russian turn. All right, that's it for the Axis.